Christian Horner just threw shade at Toto Wolff, warning him to keep his grubby paws away from Max Verstappen. According to Horner, Mercedes is playing third fiddle to their own customer teams. This jab comes after a lackluster Grand Prix where the Silver Arrow struggled, bagging a mere 10 points while Red Bull soared with both drivers on the podium, with Verstappen clinching the victory. Even though Max Verstappen is owning the track with Red Bull, Toto Wolff keeps on publicly wooing the reigning world champion. Just 3 months back, no one would have even thought about Max leaving Red Bull, where he smashed records and earned himself 3 world titles in a row. Even with their impressive performances on the track, cracks started to show in February when Christian Horner came under investigation for alleged misconduct. This scandal raised eyebrows, with Jos Verstappen voicing worries that if Horner stayed put, Red Bull might be in for some rocky times ahead. Adding to the drama, Helmut Marko got dragged into the mix, fueling the internal tensions within the team. Speculation ramped up as it seemed Max Verstappen might consider leaving to avoid the backstage drama. Toto Wolff hasn't exactly thrown cold water on these rumors. Instead, he's been openly pursuing Verstappen as he hunts for a successor to Lewis Hamilton, who's set for Ferrari next season. Wolff hinted after the Chinese Grand Prix that factors beyond just having the fastest car could sway Verstappen's decision to part ways with Red Bull. He said, "There are so many factors that play a role for a driver joining. Clearly, when you look at it from the most rational point of view, you can say, that's the quickest car in the hands of the quickest driver. But I don't think this is the only reason you stay where you are. I think for, let's say, simple minds, that might be the only reason why you stay in a car, and that's it. But maybe there are more depths for some people that consider other factors too. I think that Max has that. In that respect, are we able to convince him? I don't think it's a matter of convincing. I think that Max knows motor racing better than anyone. He will take decisions that he feels are good for him. I think a few factors play a role, but he's the one that is going to trigger some more domino stones to fall in afterwards. Everybody is waiting for what he's going to do." Regarding the timing of a potential move for Verstappen from Red Bull to Mercedes, Toto Wolff spilled that they haven't reached that point yet in their discussions with the reigning world champion. "You have conversations with many drivers exploring new opportunities, so that isn't surprising," said the Austrian. "As for Max, we're not at the point where we would have discussed years or stuff." It's safe to say that Christian Horner is getting tired of Toto Wolff's public courting of his driver, especially considering that Verstappen is under contract with Red Bull until 2028. When informed about Wolff's recent remarks after the Chinese Grand Prix, the Red Bull team boss had this to say: "I've got to think carefully about what I say here. Have you spoken to Max about this? Because if you speak to Max, and certainly it's not about pieces of paper at the end of the day, we know that he has a contract to the end of 2028. It's about how he feels in the team, and the relationship he has in the team, and the way he's performing. I don't think Toto's problems are his drivers. I think he probably got other elements that he needs to be focusing on, rather than focusing on drivers that are unavailable." As the post-race interview went on, Horner's responses started heating up. When questioned about whether he'd prefer Verstappen to personally quash the rumors, Horner shot back. "I don't know how many more times he needs to say this. He said it numerous times. I'm not going to get drawn into this. I think sometimes it's just designed to create noise. We've moved today ahead of the amount of races that Mercedes have won in the modern era. The team is in form. Why on earth would he want to leave this team? Mercedes are the third team behind their customers at the moment, so I would think his time would be better spent perhaps focusing on the team, rather than the driver market. Have you heard George Russell is out of contract at the end of 25? You know, maybe he might not be so keen to stay in 26. The market moves around." But when informed that Verstappen had never unequivocally stated that he is 100% sure that he's staying, Christian Horner snapped. "In what conference of the many that he's done has he said, 'I am unequivocally committed to my contract and the team'? I can assure you that there is no ambiguity as to where Max Verstappen will be next year." All that taken into context, Toto also admitted that, "If I was Max, I would stay at Red Bull in 2025. But I'm not Max. It's the quickest car, but there are still other factors." The last time Formula One saw new engine regulations, Mercedes took the lead, clinching 7 championship doubles from 2014 to 2020. It wasn't until Verstappen dethroned Hamilton in 2021 that their dominance wavered. Now, with 2026's new engine rules on the horizon, the big question looms. Will Mercedes regain the upper hand, or is Red Bull poised to extend their reign? "I don't think that anyone can sell anything to Max, Jos and Raymond," Wolff said. "The combined understanding of motorsport, whether you sell well or not, is not going to change anything. I believe that it is a question of how they feel where the future is best for them, considering a lot of factors. I think we're in a very good position for 2026. We are ambitious with the targets we set ourselves for the power unit, for the batteries, for the fuel. And I think if we're able to produce a decent chassis, we're a good value proposition. But who knows? I'm really not good at selling, to be honest. I think that it is down to facts. Overstating something in order to attract someone or something isn't the right way. I think we are having a development trajectory. We have set ourselves ambitious targets that we believe are necessary in order to perform on a strong level. But these are, let's say, facts on the current understanding. But obviously, if somehow someone from our competitors that develops a moonshot project, who knows? So I'm not good at convincing. I just say what I think it is. Toto's confidence in his team is good and all, but in the public eye, he and the rest of Mercedes are washed. According to BBC's Andrew Benson, Mercedes finds itself a million miles away from its previous form, struggling to comprehend why. In Shanghai, the team faced a tough weekend, with George Russell finishing 6th and Lewis Hamilton 9th. Despite Hamilton's early lead in Saturday's sprint race, Mercedes couldn't capitalize on the momentum. Mercedes has had a tough start to the 2024 season, mirroring the struggles they've faced since the introduction of ground effect regulations in 2022. Toto Wolff hasn't shied away from discussing the issues plaguing their cars, pointing out a disconnect between their data projections and actual on-track performance. F1 journalist Andrew Benson weighed in on the team's situation, saying that they're in a phase of troubleshooting as they try to pinpoint the root causes. Benson shared these insights on the BBC's Checkered Flag podcast while evaluating the performance of the 8-time Constructors' Champions. They are a million miles away from where they used to be, and where we're used to them being. As a result, it's not that big a surprise that the team, as a whole, they're just a bit depressed about it. Because if you don't know why you're not quick, you can't make yourself quick. Because you need the answer, you need the understanding before you can make the progress. When asked about Mercedes' slide from the top, drawing parallels to Red Bull's challenges post-2014 during the hybrid era, Andrew Benson pointed out a crucial distinction that raises more concern for Mercedes. Red Bull's car was still good, but what happened was Renault's engine was nowhere near Mercedes at the start of the hybrid era. What's different about Mercedes is that the Mercedes car has dropped off. Both of them are hard to fix. It's brutal to say it, but I think the reality for Mercedes, given we're already coming towards the end of April, so they're already laying down the design for next year's cars, is they will not be winning races before 2026 at the earliest, which is the new regulation change, which is chassis and engine. What do you think? Is Mercedes a lost cause at this point? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell for the hottest F1 news.